Amen. So my next question is, how do Christians find purpose and calling in today's world?
Wow, that's a big one.
Amen. So my next question is, how do Christians find purpose and calling in today's world?
Wow, that's a big one.
Yes. So we're in a world today that so many young people want to know what God has for them, know their purpose in life, know their calling in life. Nobody wants to do this, and then end up. Yes. Everybody wants to go directly to
and just go.
Everybody wants to know the blueprints of their lives and all that. And we're in a world where it is very difficult. Like I used to tell people, you want to know the blueprint of your life, you want to know purpose. It's just for you to just stay and dwell in the presence of God.
Well, you have just answered the question.
Yes, but Daddy, it seems easy to say.
Yeah, it's easy to say, but it's difficult to practice.
Yes, so that's like what I want you to answer. Why is it difficult to practice? What is the solution to it? How do we find purpose? How do we find what God really wants us to do? How do we walk and stay in the will of God?
You know that there's nothing free in this life.
Yes.
Air, we breathe air, and it looks as if it's free. But something pays for something, okay? For example, when people say the green trees, they are the lungs of the universe because they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. So that is the oxygen we are taking in and releasing carbon dioxide. Their own is the other way around.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's not free. Something pays for something. It's the same thing here. When you talk to people, you want to find purpose, you want to know your calling, you want to know exactly what God has for you, and all those things. That's your price to pay. That's your price to pay. Like nothing, like people say there's nothing free in Freetown. That's your price to pay. Is that price that people do not want to pay? That is often the problem. That's your price to pay. For example, look at me now. It shouldn't be so difficult for, mention my daughter, for example, to know my plans. It shouldn't be because we talk all the time. We talk regularly all the time. There's no need for me to call her or call one of them one day. I need to talk, I need to say the following things to you people. It's not likely going to be necessary because we have always been talking. Yeah, so they can even, one of them made, this status.
Okay.
Was it around my birthday or their mother's birthday? Because our birthdays are not far from one another. It must be one of the birthdays. And they were talking about their parents. They were comparing their dad and their mom. Very, very funny. Yeah, very, very funny. They put it on status. We saw it and we laughed. But it's because they know us. You understand? They could predict what daddy will say in this kind of situation. They could predict what mommy will say in this kind of situation. In fact, a part of those things they put on there, they were actually verbatim quotes of what we have said.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that's the same way it is with God. You know him so well because you relate, you interact. That price people do not want to pay. There's no way you can be so very, very close to God. It's going to cost you time. We don't have more than these 24 hours, all of us. And Jesus had the same 24 hours. Okay? So in the 24 hours, you are going to have to allot time to this thing you are talking about. If you don't allot time, it's not going to work. Or you are dating somebody. And all the time you people have for one another is 1 hour in the week. That marriage has already died before being born. Yeah. So if you are going to build a relationship, it's going to consume time. So you are going to have to give God that time as well. And you will be able to pass things to you, and you also pass things to him. You get to understand him. You know that God doesn't do that. I don't know whether I ever shared with you guys one story. Somebody met me. He had never seen me before. He didn't know who was Pastor Lanre Adineko. He has only heard my name. So we were together at, where these graphic people, when they do posters and handbills. So we were sitting together, and he was the one after me or so. So he now saw that the graphics man now put my name, Dr. Lanre Adineko. Benny, he's been longing to meet me.
Wow.
Listen, he now met me. And you know the message he has for me? To tell me that God is not being happy with me. This guy has never seen me.
Wow.
He has never heard my sermon. He has never met me. In fact, if that guy didn't get the job to where he wrote my name, that I was the one sitting next to him. Okay? So he invited me, excused me outside, and told me how that God has complaints about me, and this and that and that. Immediately, I was able to let him know that, really, I didn't know that God has started to do amebo.
Wow.
I'm not aware. He didn't tell my wife. He didn't tell my friends. He didn't tell my assistant pastors. He didn't tell anybody around me. He didn't tell any of my church members, even if it's in a dream. You.
Wow.
But some people are going to listen and take him seriously. You get the difference?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've moved with this God, I could say, God doesn't do that. He doesn't behave like that. Okay? He doesn't do that. It's because I know him that much. I can say, no, it is not God.
Oh my God.
He won't behave like this. But it's because I give time. We have time together. That's why I could talk like that. So let's go back to this purpose thing.